I don't feel like blogging today. This hasn't happened ever. Like, this is the first time. I don't really know what to talk about, even. And I have, like, the worst frame. You know what this feels like when you, or I don't know if you guys do that, but I go to therapy because I need it. And it feels like when you go to therapy and you have nothing to say, you're like, I think everything's good. Like, I have nothing to say. And then you end up having like one of the most insightful therapy sessions and you didn't even know you wanted to talk about that. That's what it feels like. My go to topic when I'm in therapy and I have nothing to talk about. Well, one is my dad, but second of all, um, is the world. And that sounds very broad and general and undefined, but literally the world. Like, I still find it fascinating that we live in a world and that is so complex and that there's so many people and different beliefs and languages, culture, and somehow life could be so simple yet we make it so complicated. I don't understand that. Do you? Can you please explain to me? I was reading a book yesterday. It's called A New Earth by Edgar Toyle, and it just makes me happy because it really talks about how, as a society, we can awake, like we can become aware of all things and systems that have been placed here before we got here. Like when I was born, money was already a thing, and college was already a thing, and the way education systems work were already a thing. Like, I love the idea of us coming to the world and questioning everything that was here before us. I think that should be more important in everyone's life. We would live so differently and we would see things so much differently and actually think and have these conversations if we all lived by that statement. Question everything that was there when you got there. Because how often you guys hear, because how often do we hear, oh, but this is the way it has always been and it's probably going to continue being that way? I hate that answer because I'm like, no, I get that it has always been that way. We can change it today. Or, like, not all things are that easy, but, like, just questioning it gives you the power to maybe change it or to do something about it. Of course, some things are much more complex than that. And I remember when in my own city, I was robbed and, like, literally, I was driving home. They broke my window in my car and they took my bag that I had my French books in because I had just finished French class. And I was going back home. It was 9 p.m. and I was so scared and I hated it. And like that is a core memory for me. And also that was one of the days that really made a difference for me and that made me decide like I'm not living in Lima because I cannot be scared of going out in the streets every single day and these things happening. But also I don't want my kids to have to live this way either. Like, this is trauma, and here we're so used to it. Like, especially in Lima, we're so used to it that we don't even, like, we see it like, oh yeah, everybody has been robbed like that once or twice in their lives. And I'm like, don't you guys find that completely wrong? But yeah, that day I remember telling my mom like how scared it was, and like asking her to come pick me up, whatever. And she said, you know, you're not the first person to ever get robbed like this, and you won't be the last. This is how it's always been. Just have to deal with it and be more careful next time. And don't get me wrong, she was also like really nice, and she was like very like calming. She was like calming me down, and like hugged me and supported me and everything. But also when she said that, I was like, that is so true. And also how frustrating, how annoying that is. Like, to think that just because it has always been that way, it will always be that way. I like that topic. I like thinking of the world. And I think that's why when I was little and I loved languages and flags and traveling and the world, my mom thought and pushed me to almost study like what is it even called in English, like international relationships, like to be a diplomat or ambassador or something. And it's not like I'm not interested in the topics they see. I just don't see myself doing that. Yeah, I guess it's something that's always been in me, you know? If you guys have seen the movie Soul, the Pixar movie, um they have that, right? They have like the little tags where you have like your passion, your flame. I don't know what it's called in the movie. One of them for me would be the world. Literally, the world excites me, and I also hate it because once you get to know enough about the world, you also realize so many things are wrong. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I find it fascinating and overwhelming at the same time. Guys, living is so hard. Like we're always looking to do something because we're never comfortable, I guess. Especially our generation, we have it so hard. Pandemics, looking for a job, healthcare, um, even education. Yeah, depends on where you live and stuff, I guess. But like, there are universal sufferings, I guess, that we as a generation are going through. I think that nobody else can really understand. So we have to support each other, you know. And I love the internet when it becomes a tool for that and a way to interact and to keep in touch with your friends, even if you're in different corners of the world. I love that. I love that sense of community that, again, can be a thing from the internet, because the internet also has so much hate and just so many wrong things and is used for not the right reasons sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. That's my reflection of the day, I guess. um yeah, all right. That is it for today. It's March the 17th and no news yet. We'll have to keep waiting. Any day now. Any day now. The clock is ticking. Any day now. Okay, goodbye.